Ever since I was born, I was dope.
It's Connor. I've got it all, and I'm getting more. LaVie's hologram, so expensive.
Connor currently has 32 people on his personal payroll.
Sure, Connor surrounds himself with people who are agreeable.
I'm a superstar.
Connor, did you take a shit in the Anne Frank house?
Do not go in there. Woo! Ace Ventura. This is my best friend, Maximus. He's like the closest thing I've ever had to like a little brother. If I had like a mute brother that was hella scaly.
Connor's second album drops today.
Out of 4 possible stars, Rolling Stone has given it the shit emoji. So, mixed. Let's call it mixed reviews.
Mona Lisa, the original basic bitch.
The record label's concerned about ticket sales.
I heard he's getting into stage gimmicks now.
Dude, what is this?
That's your new head.
Check this out.
Mona Lisa, you're an overrated piece of shit.
I feel that real showmanship has been lost in modern pop music. I'm trying a brand new magic trick.
Top of the world.
Connor, don't worry about it. You were up there for like 10 seconds.
It's a third of the way to Mars.
Connor, we've talked about this. 30 Seconds to Mars is the name of a band. It's not a fact.
Ash and I have been hanging out for about 6 months now. She's the total package.
Ashley Wednesday.
Are those real wolves?
Yeah.
Is that a seal? And you invited the press. What's going on?
Will you marry me?
Yes?
The wolves are loose.
Are you okay?
I've been in this situation before. I think I got these scars. From wolves? Now let's get out of here.
We killed Seal.
He's dead!
Seal is dead. Mona Lisa sucks. La da 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 da.
What's up, guys?
Love it.
Hi.
Hi.
That's deafening. That's literally deafening applause, guys.
If
We
that's
were
deafening, I don't want to hear.
We were saying that this must really suck for all the people that are just in cubicles over there in their offices, like every day, just screaming and people answering questions.
This all day, every day? Just this happening?
Usually the crowds don't scream this loudly for the guests. Let's be frank.
Oh, yeah.
Let's keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We went fishing and we caught something. Let's keep it a little more respectful. People are trying to code.
Congratulations on the film, guys. It's I was complimenting you backstage, but that's meaningless because it's not in public. So I'll say it in public. It's a hell of a piece of work.
Because you saw it and you liked it.
I saw it. I
You
enjoyed
just
it.
look in the
I will see
camera
it
and-
again. I endorse this film. Josh Horowitz for Popstar.
Yes, poster.
Before we get into the film at hand, I know there's a cloud I feel like hanging over us here today. We were talking backstage. There's a beef brewing, and I know you want to talk about it, Andy.
That's right.
What's going on?
Well, I was on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and I played a fun game with Jimmy and Gigi Hadid and Bryce Harper, who was supposedly a stand-up guy. And then he cheated multiple times in the game. So if he's out there, F you.
Whoa.
It's like he didn't understand the basic rules of
We're calling it Beavergate because the clue was eager beaver, and he got Jimmy to say beaver, and then he went, yes, and moved on.
This is how badly Andy wanted to win a game on The Tonight Show.
I just felt bad for my teammate, Gigi, who was upset.
Try to focus on the positive, this wonderful film.
Yes.
Let's talk about this movie because it seems like the perfect expression of everything that is Lonely Island. It seems like everything you were put on this planet to do is in this film.
That's why we made it.
Well, in all seriousness, like, how did it come about? Were you looking for a subject for the next film to tackle, or was this sort of just an idea you were seeing the popumentaries out there and saying we should do something with that form?
First of all, thank you for calling them popumentaries, because that's what we've been calling them. For the past 10 years, there's been so many documentaries that are like puff piece documentaries that are clearly from like the band's camp, like whether it's like Katy Perry or Justin Bieber or J-Lo or Beyonce. They're great films, but we were like, this is almost like a new genre of film for which us to spoof. And that's what, like, that was sort of the original. Like, we really just wanted to make a movie that we could put our music into, and that was the original kind of impetus for it.
And then I had a meeting with Judd Apatow, and it was just a general, and he kind of pitched that idea back to me, and I was like, oh, we've been discussing that, and that was what actually got us writing, because he offered to produce it.
So let's set the scene a little bit. I mean, we just showed the trailer, but to give a sense of sort of the world that you guys have created here, we have Connor, of course, Connor for real, with the 4 in the middle. That's important. But there's a great history to Connor and his associates, the Style Boys. Can you give a little sense of sort of where they come from and what their background was?
Yes, the backstory on the movie is my character was in a group called the Style Boys, and that was the 3 of us. We were kind of like a rap boy band. And then I went solo, and my first solo record was massive, and it sort of broke up the band. And the movie finds us on the eve of Connor putting out his second solo record. Yeah.
So in general, I mean, it seems like the film tackles like every manner of like the music industry today and what's absurd about it. Like, what makes you laugh about sort of where we're at in music today, whether it's like an aspect of the industry or the publicity machine or types of musicians? What do you find in particular hysterical about sort of where we're at in music today?
I mean, we lampoon it all, you know?
Yeah, we'll give it a vicious pooning any day of the week.
We always say that.
Everybody says that, Andy. It's a normal phrase.
Yeah.
Everybody says.
I feel like
The
I've never heard
common
that.
saying, giving something a vicious pooning.
Yeah.
Take that,
The
industry.
music industry is ripe for a vicious pooning.
Mm-hmm.
Please stop saying that. Just, come on.
I'll stop, but you'll keep hearing it because, as I said, everybody says it. So.
Well, is it hard to get like the buy-in of? Obviously, you've worked with a lot of musicians on the digital shorts over the years and the albums. At this point, do you have enough goodwill where they kind of trust you when you come to them, when you come to Seal and say, "I want you to get eaten by wolves in a movie"?
Right.
Is he like, "Yeah, I'm in," or is it a weird?
We have enough
conversation?
goodwill that they pick up the phone and go, let's hear it. What are you guys up to now? And then we still have to pitch and kind of make people comfortable.
Right.
Yeah, it sort of depends on where they are. Like Seal was just about to release an album, which I think is coming out soonish. I don't know, but so there was a little bit of a hesitation of like, is this the right move? Sort of thing. But like
No, but I mean, I'm the one who called him, and he was pretty mellow about it. He was like, I just am really focused on finishing my record, but then I'm into it. Let's do it. And I wasn't sure if he'd even read the scene. We weren't sure until he showed up on the day of shooting, honestly. And even then, we like rehearsed it once, and everyone laughed really hard. And we were like, well, if he hadn't read it before, he has now. And it went great. He was really nice.
Is there one in particular that you're surprised you landed in terms of a cameo or a guest star in this film?
Well, Ringo Starr is in it, which is crazy. Judd Apatow just was like, I'm going to call Ringo Starr. We were like, great. And he was into it. And Mariah Carey came and did a cameo, which is really cool for us.
Because I feel like the general thinking on Mariah is that maybe she's not self-aware of herself.
Right.
But seeing her appearance in this film makes me think otherwise.
She was really chill.
She definitely was, and she was very funny. And then, but like, it's kind of the tip of the iceberg. There were so many people who did cameos in this. Everyone from like Nas to like, I mean, like there was so many people that we were kind of grew up loving. So it was like a little, I wouldn't say intimidating to be across from them, but just it was very exciting to be across from certain people and have them talk about our characters with reverence of like, man, I love the Style Boys. I grew up listening to them. And we're like, that's funny because we grew up listening to you, actually, is the dynamic there.
I enjoyed Connor's just sort of manner, his voice. He's a very kind of a gentle presence, a gentle voice.
Would you say he has a little bit of Alicia Keys vibe?
Well, I was going to ask. So what?
That's all that is. It's just Andy just doing Alicia Keys the whole time.
Was Alicia first and foremost in your mind? I mean,
yeah, mixed with like everyone we grew up with in the Bay Area, basically.
Right.
Like Connor says, hella, as is evident in the trailer. Right. But yeah.
And was it a no-brainer in terms of like where the other two members of the band end up? You're kind of like in
My
exile.
character's very pissed off, and so he lives on a farm. He's not. He's given up. He's off the grid. This guy's kind of the Ryan Lewis to his Macklemore.
Yeah, but I've been relegated to the side because he ends up getting me a giant helmet, which you can see in the trailer. That it's like sort of a Dead Mouse style helmet. So I'm sort of being relegated to the side, getting more pissed off.
Which is not to say Ryan Lewis has been relegated to the side. I think he's
hasn't.
doing exactly what he wants to be doing in that.
Great beat maker
relationship.
Willing
guy.
participant.
We just
Yeah.
sort of
I was just using it as a famous
shoehorned it onto our story. Yeah.
And in terms of the songs, because there's obviously an album that goes along with this, and there's a ton of songs. I would think some that are obviously in the film, but maybe some that didn't even make it into the film. Like, how do you write with a specific like this is what kind of a story point we need at this point in the film? Like, what's the process in terms of writing the songs versus contributing to the storyline of the film?
In the beginning, we were just writing songs based on premises that we thought were funny or ideas that were sparked from listening to different beats. And then as the writing process went on, we started saying, ooh, it'd be good to have a song here that addresses this or is about this. And we sort of reworked some songs to fit the story better. So a little bit of both, really. It was sort of an ongoing thing.
Do you have a favorite among the songs, each of you?
Yes.
Okay, good. Moving on.
Yeah.
I don't want to give them. I don't want to give them away.
Yeah.
What was the hardest one to kind of write? I mean, are they difficult? I mean, do they come naturally once you kind of have the comedic conceit in mind and the beat, or are they?
We find generally once we have the idea we like, they're not really hard to write because you just are writing a million jokes and then seeing how you can fit them all together.
Yeah.
The hard part sometimes is just figure out the right angle on a joke. That's treading that line of maybe it's offensive, but it's not too offensive. It's offensive because the character's offensive, but not over
On the fence of offensive.
On the fence of offensive.
Right on the fence.
No, it's very rare that we have like a song that we've worked on for more than we work on all of them for more than a week or so, but to record from coming up with the idea to recording is usually about 3 days to a week, I would say, and then obviously all of the mixing, mastering is all other process. But there's very few songs that we have had where we've worked on them for. There's certain songs.
Some songs are 2 days, some songs are 3
And then
Some of them are
we had
hours.
one song.
Some are 3 hours.
Yeah.
Some are. What's another? If you get 30 days together, what's that called?
That's a month, I believe.
Oh, that's what.
And
I was
then we've
looking
had one song that we've worked on for kind of years, and that was Spring Break, you guys. That was.
And a year is, correct me if I'm wrong, 365 days.
Yes, and it's 12 months also.
Wow. Which
Is this what arguments
30
look like
days.
on the set?
No,
if you guys are actually-
Yorm's being viciously pooned right now.
Yeah, he was.
I don't think
asking
that,
for-
by the way, this is not that vicious a pooning. I've been viciously pooned before.
What was the most vicious pooning on the set of this film? Was there a big disagreement or pooning, to use the modern vernacular?
I mean, once again, the music industry was really what got the most vicious pooning.
But as co-directors, I would think there must be some pooning.
It always
the two of you.
it changes off who gets the pooning, but it's always 2 against 1.
Less vicious pooning, more gentle razzing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Let's talk about division of labor a little bit, because you guys are the co-directors on the film. The 3 of you collaborated, obviously, on the writing. Once you get on set, what does that look like in terms of the mind meld that is Lonely Island? I mean, are you kind of someone handling one aspect versus another, or what?
We would trade off. Occasionally, I would say action, and he would say cut, and then occasionally he would say cut, and I'd say action.
But then occasionally,
Yeah.
and this made everybody just crack up. We'd both say action.
Yeah, we'd say 1, 2,
Oh, and everybody
3,
would just be laughing. And
action, and then we would say.
And for you as an actor, is it upsetting when you see your co-directors kind of going back and forth like that, or do you prefer one of them to say action or cut?
I like it better when Akiva says
And cut.
Nice. Yeah, Yorm's a little fast on the cuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have been collaborating since, well, you've known each other since what? You were 13, 14 years old? What, am I getting the math right? Approximately. So if I looked at your first collaborations, whatever that looked like, versus now, is the actual kind of discussions, the kind of nature of the way you guys talk to each other that much different? What's the biggest difference in the way you guys talk to each other now versus way back when?
The way we talk to each other, while making a thing, or
Yeah, making a thing, like just coming up with, shooting the shit and coming up with an idea.
If it's that different.
It's not that different.
Yeah.
It's
Our shorthand is maybe a little shorter now.
Right.
Yeah, we have people to hold the microphones and the
that's a
cameras and
big
stuff.
difference.
That's helpful.
Right.
But generally, it's the same thing as we sit down in our room and go, what do we find funny about what we're gonna make?
Right.
And sort of just go to town on it.
Yeah. And then we just talk about how much money we'll make from it, and which we didn't do as much before.
There's a lot of talk about money.
Yeah, what is the ratio of discussing the actual product versus what you can actually
Any
read
time
from the
after we
product?
think of a joke, I go, we have to decide what percentage each of us wrote so we know what percentage of the money to make. So it takes much longer to write a script because we have to go line by line, kind of arbitrating out.
Yeah.
Like, well, I wrote the first part, but do you remember I came up with the punchline, and to me, the punchline.
Well, now that there's publishing on jokes, you got to be really diligent with that stuff.
Really important, you guys.
Yeah.
It's a really
So the
important
writing's
thing.
the same, but that's maybe 5% of the time. The other 95% of the time is totally different.
And you guys decided that mocking of the popumentary is where the money's at. That's the most lucrative kind of genre. Outside of superhero
No, we
genre.
decided we decided the money was getting in the way of our friendship, so we just went pure art.
Okay. Do you consider this like the first like actual? I mean, Hot Rod was a Lonely Island film. Would you consider that a Lonely Island film in a way?
Yes,
Yeah.
but we didn't write it initially. We rewrote it. So this is the first one we've made from the ground up.
Got it. What are the lessons learned out of something like Hot Rod, which people love, but at the box office didn't succeed at the time?
Yeah.
Is that something that you apply? I'm sorry, Yorma. I didn't mean to.
No, I didn't check the opening weekend, so I don't know.
It did
how
fine.
Well
It did
or anything
fine.
like
It did fine.
That was a bit I did. We're buddies with like Jonah Hill and Michael Cera and those guys, and Superbad came out the same summer as Hot Rod. And the weekend after Superbad came out and just annihilated, I texted both of them being like, "Hey, I've been out of town. How'd our movies do?"
Did they do the same? Did they do the exact same?
Yeah.
Are there actual lessons to be learned from an experience like that, or is that just sort of the luck of the marketplace and marketing and all of that? I mean, I would think you're proud of that film.
We are proud of it. Yeah. I mean,
An honest lesson was that it bummed me out for like 3 years. that if I wish I could go back and be like, don't be bummed out. It's fine. People will find it, and 10 years from now they'll like it.
Yeah. The important lesson is never open your heart, ever.
Right.
Never
Right,
care about
smart.
anything.
And make money.
Make that
was
money.
The other one. Sell tickets, make that money.
Argue about who gets what, too. And have a great lawyer, you guys. Three separate great lawyers.
Let's go back a little bit. We're going to go to some questions from the audience in a few minutes, but I want to talk about sort of the early beginnings of Lonely Island, and obviously most people sort of came to know you guys through the digital shorts at SNL, and Lazy Sunday was the first one that exploded. Give me a sense of sort of like day before Lazy Sunday is out and day after Lazy Sunday gets out into the internet sphere. Did it feel like the world had changed?
So like the Saturday and then Sunday.
Well, like
If you want to put it in those terms,
Okay,
sure.
all right.
before, Andy had bought a jacket he was really proud of that had kind of a furry collar. And
was in the
after,
video. Yeah.
he felt like he couldn't wear that jacket anymore.
yeah.
'Cause he just
then
looked
I
like
was
he was
in
in
wardrobe.
wardrobe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was like, oh, I just bought it.
Right.
So that was a big change.
Yeah, I used to shop at the Gap, and then the next day I just went straight to J. Crew.
Just
Yeah.
because.
Bit of a lateral move,
Because
but
I could.
it was more just about Yorm's taste
Because I could.
and the seasons.
And now
changing.
look at me. Zara.
Straight to the side.
Did it feel like there was kind of immediate pressure to kind of keep that momentum building? Because it seemed like it was building at that time, and it did, and you had success after success, and people were so anticipating the next one. Did you feel like you were in kind of a cocoon at SNL where you could kind of just do your thing, or did you feel like there was a lot of outside pressure on you guys?
We were so new still. I mean, that was halfway through our first season. That just getting anything to air felt like such a huge relief and victory for us that it was, I think, even though there was press around it and people telling us like, hey, this is really like getting a lot of attention, for us, we were like, oh, cool, so we're not gonna get fired? Like, we still didn't get that it was something that was like solidifying a spot for us for a while. So we were more just like, let's do more of that so that we can keep being on the show. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's correct.
And how do you guys respectively, because you all didn't leave at the same time, was it an easy decision at the time to know when to leave SNL and to try other things? Or is that sort of something that feels...
No.
It's not?
It's hard.
It's a very hard show.
You never really leave. Like, you're a part of that forever if you've ever worked.
But physically, you do.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying. Yeah, you when you leave the building, that's true.
Well, yeah, I was being like poetic.
He's got a point too. That's to.
I think I left with everything I needed. You know.
Like physically.
Yeah.
You didn't leave your clothing?
No,
And you went back for it.
Yeah. I think Yorm left a pack of smokes hidden in the bathroom, am I right? This guy's a cigarette smoking rebel.
I'm not saying.
All I say is only one of you has a beef out there. Do you guys have beefs with anyone you need to air out? Because Andy already got his out with one of the preeminent baseball players on the planet.
Just say Bryce Harper also, so we're friends.
what's that?
Say be my good friend and say Bryce Harper too, that you got my back.
Oh, yeah.
Andy, you have a microphone in front of your face.
What?
Yeah.
Andy's beefs are also our beef.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear that, Bryce Harper? Come at me, bitch! I got squad.
You got to come through us first. You want to get to Andy.
Yeah! I'm gonna let Yorm ride on you!
Hey, stay away from my friend.
No, but while we're on the subject, he did do a video for my friend's dad that was really sweet, so just want to say thank you for that, Bryce. It was really sweet of you.
Weird beef you got going on here.
I know, I don't know how to beef right.
What's the future for Style Boys or Connor, you think? Is this a character at a world that like you would want to explore, whether it's in future shorts or films or whatever?
I can say with full clarity, if the movie does well, we would love to do more of it. And if it bombs, we are done with it. And we've said everything there is to be said about it.
And you know who also feels like that is Universal. They also feel exactly like that.
It's good to be on the same page with collaborators and feel like you're...
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Well put.
Yes.
That's great. Well, it's going to be a huge hit, so we're going to see 6 more of these films. It's all going to be good. You're all
Don't open your heart, man.
Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Rule number 1.
We like to think it's the new Maze Runners.
I do appreciate, as someone that's covered my fair number of YA material at MTV, the Cube Theorem looks like an amazing franchise you created in the film.
Cube Theorem's the fake YA franchise in the movie, yeah.
Have you trademarked that? Could you create your own? That could be the moneymaker. That could be the thing.
By the way, we definitely pitched Popstar The Scorch Trials as a title. It's Popstar Scorch Trials, and it didn't go over well. Yeah. Sure, Cube Theorem. Let's do it. Why not?
Right?
Just got to figure out what it's about.
I think we came up with names for all 3 of them, didn't we? Wayward Paradise was the one that was in the movie.
Cube Theorem, Wayward Paradise.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And you split the last book into 2, obviously. That's
You gotta.
Right.
Hobbit the shit out of that.
Let's go to this wonderful audience with some brilliant questions. I think there's a microphone or 2 running around.
We're going to start with a question from an online viewer.
Oh.
So Rachel says, Andy's looking pretty buff on the movie poster. Is that hard work or Photoshop?
That's not Photoshop.
Not Photoshop.
It's not Photoshop. But it's not hard work.
I mean, obviously, you can see the difference of what sits before you versus the poster, so I've let it go since then, but I lost a lot of weight for the movie. Yeah. Because I knew I was going to be, like, shaving my whole body and being shirtless a lot. So I did it.
Yo. He had to shave for tattoos and stuff. He wasn't just doing the shaving for no reason.
Yo.
Yo, what's up?
Guys, you're my boys. I can't tell you the amount of times I've been on cruise ships and getting a little cray-cray yelling, I'm on a boat. Clearly,
I so badly wanted you to say, like, I've been on a boat and been just like, jizz in my pants.
Word.
I've jizzed in my pants so many times on a boat.
Yeah, on that note, watching the trailer, I know you guys were talking about basicness, and when I think of that, I think of words like wanderlust and fitness. So what's the most basic things you guys have ever heard?
What a well thought out question.
He thinks of wanderlust and fitness when he thinks of the word basic. And then what was the question on top
But
of
you're
that?
not talking about Wanderlust the movie.
What do you
right?
think is basic?
Oh.
Smoothies.
Yeah, I don't know the normal answers. What are basic things like Trumps pants? Yeah, like mocha frappuccinos.
Yeah, the Gap. You know what I mean? Not
thought you
J.
loved
Crew.
the Gap.
J. Crew is like
No, but J. Crew's hit.
J. Crew's not
And
basic.
Zara, forget about it. You better be famous if you want to shop there.
This guy has left the Gap in the dust.
basic.
Bet Bryce Harper wears the Gap. What do you think?
He must. Not shitting, but seriously, thank you for that video, Bryce. It's really kind of you. Take the time. He was thrilled.
And is our job in this beef to like block the compliments coming from you to him?
Huh?
This beef that you have with him?
Nah, man, we're just messing with his mind.
All right.
All right.
Hey guys, I'm
Hi.
a big fan, so I'm gonna try to get through this without freaking out.
All
Okay.
right. Great.
Good luck.
So throughout the years, you've collaborated with huge people: Justin Timberlake, Rihanna. It goes on and on. Julian Casablancas. Is there somebody that you haven't collaborated with that you would want to in the future?
Bill Paxton.
Yeah,
Pullman.
Josh gets it.
We say this a lot and mean it every time.
Yeah, we do.
Our dream is to get Bill Clinton on saxophone on a song.
And if we haven't approached him, but we figure if we do enough of these and talk about it, that eventually he'll see it and be like, you know what, I like those guys.
Power of positive thinking.
Yeah.
Just put it out there. That's
We're
kind of
not
our
kidding
main
about that, by
want.
the way.
Was there someone in mind that you had that you think we should work with?
Taylor Swift. Maybe?
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We'd love to work with Taylor.
We did a short with her when she was on SNL, but it wasn't musical.
It was YA.
It was YA. It was Twilight.
It's a Twilight
Based.
thing.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know your stuff. You weren't kidding.
Yeah.
You're
He really knows her stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. We always want to work with Kanye, and he's always really nice, but then he's always like, nah.
Actually, yeah, I've never told this. We did, one of our shorts was this one called I Ran So Far, and it had Fred Armisen as Ahmadinejad. It was right when he came to Colombia and said there were no gay people in Iran. And Adam Levine was in it, and Kanye was on the show that week, and we asked him if he wanted to also be a part of it. And he declined politely, and then during Good Nights, after it had aired, I was like, hey, great job, man. He was like, thanks. He's like, I saw your video. It was really good. I'm still glad I didn't do it, though. I was like, straight shooter. You never have to guess where Kanye's coming from.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
I find myself quoting lines from your music all the time. Like if someone's really quiet, I'll say, speak up, Shirani, stuff like that. So my question for you is, are there lines from your music that you find yourself quoting on a daily basis?
There's a lot of stuff that we would say on a daily basis, and then we put it in a song, and then we can't say it anymore. Like we'll ruin inside jokes for ourselves by making them outside jokes.
Yes, like punch you in the jeans is something that we used to say to each other a lot.
We used to actually
became
just
a
rap
song.
that.
Yeah.
Just walk around going, no one knows that song, but it's really stupid.
We'll add the applause later, right?
This is live. It's live.
It's kind of a deep cut.
Yeah.
I sometimes will just text like a boss at the end of things just to bum them out really hard.
Oh, yeah. We'll sarcastically quote ourselves to each other.
Yeah. Be like, remember that?
Remember jizz in my pants? That's funny, right?
Yeah, like, Keith, you're wearing those sneaks like a boss.
Thanks, Andy.
Yeah, the thing we wrote.
Yeah, basically like that.
Well, speaking of that, hi, I'm Rod. I like to party.
Nice.
I was just wondering. So
Your name's not actually Rod, is
My
it?
name is not Rod.
Okay.
It's Kevin.
Kevin.
Clarification.
My name's Kevin.
Okay.
I still like to party.
Okay.
Oh, fair.
I'm Danielle. Nice to meet you. You talked about Lazy Sunday being a huge victory. I was wondering, because like the SNL book talks about you guys revolutionizing the whole digital space for them. What, I guess, maybe it was Lazy Sunday, but like what was that point for you guys where you're like, wow, people actually want to see these. We need to make more. We need to do them every episode.
When they told us to
Yeah,
do
they
one
told us
every
to.
episode.
Yeah. But
We-
yeah, I mean, after Dick in a Box, it got to the point where it was like, whoa, this is really working. And we knew a lot of that was because it was Justin, but we didn't
But also
care.
the Natalie Portman rap thing we did after Lazy Sunday.
Yeah.
And it was the second one to get a lot of attention. And
Yeah.
that's when we realized we weren't just sure if it was a fluke the one time to get the attention. So that was the next one that did.
Yeah.
And then that one, obviously.
Yeah.
But they really did come in and go, do one every week. And we go, can we just do them when we have a good idea? And they're like, that's not how this show works. We're on every week, so you just do one every week.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we were kind of like, but yeah. And then I can say one other thing. He has this board that you've probably seen as photos in that book where it's like the cards on the board. And there's a few permanent cards that are for like commercial breaks, opening monologue, weekend update. And they're like laminated, and the rest are just cards that get written on and thrown away at the end of the week. And I don't know what season it was. Let's say our fourth or fifth. Somewhere in there was a permanent card that's at it, and you're like, oh, there hasn't been a permanent card up here since since the first year. It was like the new permanent card that probably I would say
just
since
said
the show had been
digital short,
invented.
yeah. When we first
And it
saw that,
said
we were like,
dickheads.
Yeah.
That's what it said on the card.
we were though when we saw the card, we were like, whoa,
Yeah.
nice. It was cool.
Very cool.
I think one more question.
Hey,
Yes.
hey guys.
Hey.
Thank you
Hello.
for being here.
Hi.
If you could trade your life for another pop star's life, who would it be and why?
First off, thanks for saying another, as if we were the first
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Like, wait a minute.
Who's equally successful in the world of pop to us?
You mean like if we could
Like
save their
whose
life and we
whose
would
life
die?
would we want to live?
Yeah, like they would, if they were in danger of being killed, then we would take their spot and die?
Yeah, and the bullet. Yeah, exactly.
Like who would we jump in front of?
No.
Who do
right.
you want to be? I don't know. A lot of them seem to be living pretty fabulous.
Yeah, a lot of them seem to be living high on the hog. Like they're going to Zara all the time.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Are you getting paid on the side?
Shut up, man. Don't bullet for me. You not mess this up for me.
Yeah, if you follow like Kim Kardashian's Snapchat, she's just at Zara constantly. And you're like, ooh, to live that life.
Oh, man. What deals?
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
Drake seems to be having a blast.
Yeah, he seems to be having a pretty good time.
He only kicks it on Tuesdays, but
Yeah.
I'm
He's grinding all weekend, you know.
yeah, he's got no
I
time
would
to
love
party.
to
on
have
the weekend.
more of a green thumb, so I would say DJ Khaled. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah, it's
feel
very important to water those plants.
Yeah.
Very important.
very important. A bunch of very important things, but
Kind of all of them, I guess, is the short answer. All of them that are just seem to be having a wonderful time, and then we'd switch with them, and they'd get to do this.
Those poor pop stars. Gentlemen, thank you for your time today. If you were playing at home, the secret word, of course, was Zara. So you've won big. And the movie Popstar Never Stop, Never Stopping opens June 3rd. It is honestly awesome, and I highly encourage you guys to check it out. Give it up for The Lonely Island.
Thanks, guys.
thanks, guys.